Olá, muito boa tarde, sejam bem-vindos a mais um live. Hoje vai ser em inglês, temos convidados de Inglaterra. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live. Today we will have three England internationals, former captains from Middlesbrough Futsal Club. I will invite Ben. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, you?
Also fine, thank you. How's it going?
Yeah, great. Obviously a little bit different, like everyone, but yeah, we're coping. I've got my little girl, so she's keeping me busy, so it's all good.
Exactly, that's the most important thing,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Sure. So next one will be Jason Kilbride. Hi, Jason. Welcome.
Hey, Rui, you okay?
Very well, thank you. Nice
Good.
to see you.
And you? Hi, Ben. You all right?
Hi, Jace.
I'm good.
Good man.
Nice beards, you guys.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Your lockdown look.
Let's see if
I've took
Robbie.
inspiration off Jace.
Let's see if Robbie has his machine working. Hi, Robbie. Welcome.
Good evening, Marie. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. It seems that your machine is cutting good at the moment.
Yeah. Had a bit of a trim yesterday. Did the hair as well.
Looking good, mate. Good.
Well done. Good, guys. So thank you all for being here. Today we will share a little bit what you have done in your way in futsal and in sports in general. And so I would start right now with Ben, asking when did you start playing sports?
Playing sports?
Yeah.
I think the first thing I did was karate when I was like 4, wanting to be a Ninja Turtle. So I think that was when I started, but football really didn't start to me until I was about 12, I guess. And then played it all through school, like I'm sure the other lads did, and athletics and stuff like that. And then futsal began for me at college. So my Sunday league team that I played for, amateur side, had a league in Grimsby. And I ended up playing for them on a Tuesday night. We got to the FA Cup and all sorts of stuff. That was just before I went to uni. So yeah, through Sunday league really, I got into futsal. But yeah, it was good.
Well then. So then, Jason, when did you start sports and playing futsal?
So I think first thing was when I was a toddler. I think kicking a ball around, always football. I remember playing for my first team football signing when I was 7, and it was an under-9s team, and being the smallest person there, and being great fun. And then football throughout my sort of youth, really, playing for different football academies and things, and also loved a bit of athletics at school and doing that on the side. I think when you're a teenager, you just want to play every sport possible. I think rugby, cricket, football, whatever I could turn my hand to, I played. But was no good at rugby, was no good at cricket, and football was what I sort of stuck to. And then when I started at university, started playing futsal from university actually. Started playing there, and so I would have been 18 then. The first time I sort of heard about futsal or started playing it. So quite late in terms of developing and playing the sport, but. Yeah, so football really was my mainstay, and then futsal to finish off.
Well done. Now, Robbie, when did
football? I've always been football. Not really played many of the sports. Maybe a bit of athletics when I was in school, but yeah, football from a young age. I was at Darlington Football Club from the age of 11, I think, until I was 16. And then from then I moved on to the men's game, played a lot of more local leagues, lower down in the football pyramid until I went to university, and that's when I started playing futsal really. And that was about 2010, I think, 2009, probably 2009.
Well done, great. So going back to Ben. Describe your path in futsal. So you started playing futsal in the 5-a-side Sunday league, right?
Yeah, well, it was a futsal league, but it wasn't the game that we'd recognise really. It was on like an AstroTurf. It had a futsal ball and futsal goals, but that was about it really. So it was quite basic, but it was a good league. You know, there's quite a lot of members. But I quickly moved on to university. Had a similar experience to the other guys, where at Boro, where we played for the university teams. In the Bucks League, I think we won my second year. I think it was the Bucks started, and we won the first one, which was great. Went on to play abroad tournaments in Czech Republic and Portugal and stuff like that. I don't know if I went on. Did you go to Brno, Jace?
No, I didn't. It was
No,
just
you were third year, weren't you? I was
Yeah.
third year, so when you were first year, that's right. And then after uni, I played GB unis as well. I think the other guys have as well, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We all played GB unis as well, so I played that. That was my introduction into international futsal. My first game was against Brazil, so that was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
And then
Good
after,
start, huh?
Sorry.
Good start.
Yeah, exactly. It was really my proper introduction to how, proper futsal really. Seeing the quality of those guys, but that's pretty much what happened as I started my international career as well. I got into the national team. I think it was maybe the year after I finished uni. So about 2009. Through playing, that's when the National League started about then as well. So when I left uni, played in the National League, played for the national team. I just progressed on from there really year on year. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It took me all the way till I eventually stopped playing. So, yeah.
Can you remember the score against Brazil, Ben?
Sorry?
Can you remember the score against Brazil?
Yeah, it was 8-0, I think. And
That's not bad.
No, it was a friendly 8-0 because we were like that. Where you sit in a diamond at the edge of your D, you don't even want the ball. We was like that, like just stopping like damage limitation. And then they was kind of nice. But anytime we was like, all right, we'll have a little go, they like just took the ball off us and scored. And it culminated in the goalkeeper actually scoring. Played fly keeper for the last 10 minutes, and I think the goalkeeper actually scored. So yeah, it was friendly, but it was a lesson for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember the score against Sporting in Lisbon?
Oh, what was that? Was it 12?
No, that was against Barcelona.
That was against Barcelona. 18?
18-1.
18-1, yeah. But that wasn't the worst. The worst one was against Mostoles, the Spanish team. Was that at 20-something-1, I think? I don't even know. Like that was.
I wasn't there, so I can't remember.
Yeah, like 23-1 or something like that. Mostoles. I'm sure it was them.
I think for all of us, like our scores have got better as our careers have got forward. I remember some absolute beatings in the early days when you're learning it.
Yeah. You haven't really had. I don't think you've really had a proper introduction to futsal unless you've been like smashed off some international team to realise how good people are. So, but yeah, that's my journey really.
Yeah. So you then after Teeside, you started with Boro. After
so at Teeside, that was when Damon started the National League team. My third year, I think, possibly. So I played for 1 year for Boro, but I can't remember if we played in the National League or it was like the version before the National League. When I left university, I played for Tranmere because they were the best team in the north then. And when they split the league, and then I went to Sheffield. And then I don't know how much time you've got because there's quite a long list of teams after that. But we'll let the other lads talk first. Then,
but keep going.
Oh well, all right, Sheffield, and then I moved to London, played for Malasya. Then I moved. Usually my teams were where I was living and where I was working. So I've worked in professional football since I left university. So I went to Grimsby and played for Sheffield. Lived in London, worked for a couple of teams there, played for Malasya. Then I moved to Wolves football team, so I played for Loughborough. And then I can't remember what I did after that. What did I do after that? Then I think I went back to Sheffield. Then I did my ACL. Then I went to York. So, and there's a couple of other things that I played for Perth in the UEFA Cup once. That was just a random thing, and I've played in a couple of cups for other teams, London United and stuff like that. So a bit of a journeyman, really.
Well then, Jason, your turn.
Yeah, no. Well, I've got quite a few tracksuits like Ben, so we'll come on to that a bit. But yeah, so I wouldn't probably be where I am played futsal if it wasn't for Ben actually. So if you remember Ben, I was at university trials in my first year for football, and Ben was captain for one of the teams, and he had sort of said, "Oh, I think that lad's good for our team." And what was Rick McGowan, wasn't it? Was manager.
Rick McGowan, yeah.
Yeah, and we went, and I joined Ben's football team in my first year at uni. And after a couple of training sessions and games, he turned around and said, "Oh, have you heard of futsal before? I think you'd be decent at it." And I was like, didn't know what it was. And he said, "Come along to training. We're training for Boro." And at the first session I came to was actually Boro training. It was the first year, like you said, we're launching the National League in that tiny sports hall, which was half a court size at the Olympia. And I remember coming down, playing, absolutely loving it. So that was my first introduction. So it was the first league of the National League, first season of Borough futsal, sort of officially in a league, wasn't it? Before that was just the local Teeside League. And that was the start of my journey, really. First year into the National League. And I played for the university that year in Bucks, and then progressed from there, playing sort of alongside National League with Middlesbrough, and also Bucks for Teeside. And over my time, won Bucks twice, and the trophy in Bucks once for the university. And then in my first year of my masters, I think it was it our first my masters, Robbie? Was it our final year at uni? I can't remember whether it was GB.
That was 2010, I think.
Yeah, because you'd already left, didn't you, while I was doing my masters, and we got selected for GB, and similar to Ben, the pathways are quite similar, really. Robbie and I went across to play in the World University Games in Serbia. Our first game was against Russia, and we remember we were sat up in a tight diamond, and they were just brilliant, absolutely phenomenal. And at half time, we'd scored 2 fluky goals, and it was 2-2, and we couldn't believe it. We didn't know what had hit us. Like, literally, the second half, Curtis was the goalkeeper, who was a great keeper for Boro and England, and a good mate of all of us. And he at the end of the game was injured from the amount of saves he made, and didn't play in the rest of the tournament. So we got absolutely butchered, and we finished 4-2. But they'd been timing how much of the ball we had and how much they'd had. And they'd had 37 minutes of the game in possession, and we had 3 out of 40 minutes. We'd scored 2 goals. So we were quite proud of that. After sort of that, the manager at the time, Mike Scubala, who's England manager now, he was assistant manager for England at the time. And I played quite well in the tournament, and he'd said, "Look, I'd like to bring you down for training." Ben was already in the England squad at that point, so I sort of knew some of the boys in there, and joined from there. So I was 21, so that would have been 2010. Would have been my first England game, 10 years ago, and that from there stayed on and played for England. I played for Boro for 5 years. So I think probably one of the longest serving after Robbie. I think you might be longer, Robbie. And after Ben, captain Boro, and then Robbie followed me afterwards. Went on from there. Similar to Ben, I moved to university. From the university, and went and worked in London. And I joined Helvetia after Middlesbrough, and then spent a season and a half there before moving and joining Loughborough. So we've stepped on similar paths, and then played for Middlesbrough, and similarly did some stuff, played for St Helena in a few tournaments, as all of us have, internationally. So yeah, quite similar.
Well then, great, Robbie.
Yeah, well, like you said, we all 3 of us had a similar path from university, but I think really playing for Middlesbrough was where I really caught the bug of futsal. You know, it was a really good time for us. We had a good team, the best team spirit, and that's what really drew us all in and made it a special place for us. Obviously, we did well as a team. We all stuck in together, and a few of us got recognised, played for the Great Britain university side. I think really that's really where I noticed that I could make a difference, I think, and play at a high level. We got the taste of what it's like to be professional. We got treated like a professional in terms of the coaching we got, the facilities we used, and that really drew me to put more time and effort into how I prepare for playing and prepare myself physically and that sort of side of it. So that was probably the best time I could remember from futsal. Really, the first taste of success, I think. And then, that game against Russia, we played against the likes of Sergei Abramov and Prudnikov, who went on to play for Russia in the World Cup final. Was it 2012? I think in Thailand. And seeing those guys that we played only within the last 2 years before made us think, okay, we're not going to get into the World Cup final anytime soon, but we can really make an impact on the game in this country. And then from then, where have I gone? Middlesbrough, captain, played a lot of games. I can't even remember how many I've played until left Middlesbrough, ended up moving on to York. I think about 3 years at York. And then I've just finished my first season at Durham University now. That's been a nice change, a bit less travelling for me. And especially now that I've become a dad, I can spend more time with family, which is nice.
Exactly. Yeah, normally that's I stopped playing in 2014 in Germany when my first kid was born. So it's difficult to travel. I had to make nearly 200 kilometers. So
Wow.
2 hours away from home to go to Hamburg, and it was difficult for my wife, obviously, and also you guys know better than me that when you're playing, you don't care if you're taking a flight because you just want to play. But when you have family, you're liable for the needs of your family. So yeah, great. So quick question here. Robbie was talking about the bug for futsal. Why did you guys, all of you in general, played more futsal than football?
Who's going first?
Yeah, you can.
Well, to be honest, I've always preferred sort of the small sided games. To be honest, I've always been a little bit better at it than I have the 11-a-side game. I think Robbie makes a good point. Like you can see a pathway. Like I was never good enough to be a professional footballer, I don't think. And when I started playing futsal, I think especially when I started, the path to the sort of national team and to the national championships was quite short. Like I said, we qualified from a Grimsby League to the FA Cup finals. I think there was, which is mad really. And similar when I started playing at uni and then for GB unis and then for England, I think you see it's quite exciting to see a pathway to the national team. And also because I worked in professional football, I couldn't play football because the games were all at the same time on a Saturday and a Tuesday night and stuff like that. So it worked out perfectly for me because I worked on the Saturday and then I played on the Sunday. So it was really simple for me to make that decision. But I think I always enjoyed the small-sided game more than I did the 11-a-side anyway. So it was a perfect match for me.
Yeah.
You, Jason?
I think, and probably similar to Robbie, I'm probably answering for both of us here, but I've sort of channeled both paths alongside each other for most of my sort of futsal and football time. When I was at university, it was both.
Did you play for Teeside football and futsal as well?
Yeah, and then I played locally up there on a Saturday. So I remember training or playing 7 days a week for 3 years. It's probably why I had to retire. Damage on the body. But I just played as much as I could and sort of channeled both. And then afterwards, when I was playing for Helvetia, I was travelling from sort of Peterborough down to London, similar to you. I had a 150-kilometre trip each way. So I stopped football then because futsal was my priority. And like Ben said, the access to elite sport at that level within futsal was a greater opportunity for me to make something of it than football. And then again, I sort of dual pathed football and futsal after that when I became a bit older, and did the same until the last sort of couple of years where I flipped between the two really. But futsal for me, I think it's always been one area of where the access to getting elite has really helped. And that early bits of GB University, treated like a professional, the England stuff really enhanced that, and thought, well, this is the channel I have to focus my time on. So that always became a priority from there.
Well then, but did you feel that you were leaving aside your childhood dream to do something that it was more rational, or it was because you gain a new love, let's say like this?
I think it's probably the same dream, just in a different format, isn't it? And it's
Sure.
we all, when we're kids, probably all of us think, I want to play for my country. Like that's an aim, and I think it just changed sports, I suppose, in a different way rather than that. So I didn't really see it as a change. I still saw it as my same sort of goal and aspiration, just in a different channel.
Well then. And you, Robbie?
Well, I played football and futsal for a long time together. Maybe football semi-professional level till I was maybe 25, I think. But I struggled a lot because I think the demands of both at the same time was just too much on me physically. I think I just enjoyed playing both formats of, football, like futsal, and them equally to a certain degree. But then I really enjoyed the tactical side of futsal and having to think more about the game. The level I was at football-wise, it wasn't really the thought and the tactics that bit, and I got quite frustrated with football in that sense. But futsal, I felt like was at a higher level, and I think I could relate to that a bit more. But I think at the busiest time when I was maybe 23, I was training 3 days a week futsal. Futsal on a Sunday, a match, football on a Saturday, and then one night a week football as well. And it just became too much. I had a couple of knee injuries, kept me out for a couple of years, and after that, I sort of reevaluated things and thought I need to focus on futsal to get the best out of it.
Well then, what you guys think? Let's start with Ben again. What you guys think about the hot topic nowadays? Ronaldo and Falcao are discussing starting a hybrid academy, so using futsal as a tool to develop footballers. What you guys think about that? And did you feel that futsal helped you to develop football skills, or it's different? What you guys think?
Well, yeah, I think it's something similar is happening in the academy systems in England as well. I know there's a lot of futsal played in the academies. It's quite popular. So I think it's a good idea for them to do that, and I'm sure they've got their own reasons. But I think in general, small-sided games are great for younger children to get lots of touches on the ball, whether that's in futsal or just football, but small-sided games. I know it's hard for me to say how futsal affected my football ability because, like I've said, I didn't really twin track like the other lads did. But I think what it does when you have so many touches on the ball and you have to deal with the ball in tight spaces under pressure, it just gives you more confidence to be receiving the ball under pressure, and it improves your decision making time and stuff like that, and just your confidence to be in possession, I think. So I think that's a great idea, and I see it happening here in England, and I see kids. I mean, I was with Robbie at York, and they've got some young players there that are playing both, and I mean, they're very good technical players. Whether that's down to both or just good coaching, it's hard to say, but I think it's got to be a positive move, definitely.
Well then, Jason.
I think it's funny because some people in the futsal world think, oh no, it shouldn't be used as a development tool for football, and futsal is its sport in its own right, and so on. And I think if we can piggyback on the back of football to raise the profile of futsal, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to raise the profile. And I think further down the line, people will then decide, and you're seeing it quite regularly now. Either way, I mean, great example in England of Max Kilman, who now is playing professional football for Wolves, and was a fantastic footballer himself in his own right, and probably would have got to where he was because of his football ability. But I believe didn't the guy who had seen him play actually came to watch him play futsal or something? There was some sort of link between the futsal, and I think it's definitely for younger kids. I mean, I twin tracked it, like Ben said, and in my football game improved so much. Coming back to this area and playing semi-professional afterwards, I was leagues above where I'd played before. So it definitely improved my game for all the reasons that Ben said. And I think, why not? I think it's a fantastic tool. I used to look at it, tight situations, I was a better player because of futsal. And I think it should be used for a development tool. And the FA have some of their great programs that development pathway that they're doing and the DNA stuff and so on. And futsal is embedded into that. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity. And then children, youths can decide which path they want to take at that final stage. If they're good enough and they want to go to football because of the lure of the sort of football itself or the opportunity to earn vast amount of money, or they really enjoy the futsal game, it's their choice at that point.
Great. Jason, Robbie?
Yeah, very similar to, Jason and Ben. I think that it has its benefits playing futsal to improve football. I've felt that myself. I felt like my football game improved dramatically in my early 20s, despite, I think I was... Jace, did you say you were 21 when you started playing futsal?
18 started playing, 20 was GB, England.
Right. So I think I was about 21 when I first started. I was right near the end of university, so I was quite late, but I still felt the benefits. And there's definitely a case for futsal benefiting players for football, and then they can choose how they want to progress, whether they want to stick with it or not. I don't know what age that is up to, whether that can be longer term. I know for me personally, even if I was a better footballer and I'd have kept on that track, I'd have still played futsal just because I enjoy it, not just as a way of improving me, but I just enjoy the game.
Well, my opinion, I never played football because I started training futsal at 12, I guess. So when I tried with my mates to play football, because I was a goalkeeper, I couldn't. The goal was massive, so it was so different for me. In sense of the goalkeeper, it's a much bigger difference than it is for players in the field, even though it's different. So I cannot compare, and for me it's boring. Now on Sundays morning, before the pandemic, we were playing 11-a-side, and it's so boring for me. So I had to take the gloves off and go up front just to run, because I need to make some. I need to run a bit. I'm out of shape completely, and so
calories.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's no fun to play football. I like to watch, but in sense of playing, it's a massive difference. Okay, so now, guys, so Teeside University. When did you? What did you study there? Was it sports? What was it? And then what made you get involved in futsal while you were there?
So I did a degree in sports therapy. Again, I think Jace, you did the masters, didn't you? But yeah, I did a degree in sports therapy. It's what I'd done at college, really. I did a BTEC in sport, and then I did a lot of extra sort of courses on sport injury management. I was always interested in that from a college age, really. And I got involved because, as I said, the year before I played futsal locally, and I thought, I'll just have a look at the Freshers' Fair that all first year students have a look around and see what sports teams are. Obviously, football assigned to the football team. And then I noticed there was futsal, and I was shocked because I didn't really know how big it was or how popular it was. So, and it was Damon, who obviously we all know. He started the club that year, so I got involved straight away with futsal because I'd recognised it from playing it before, and I thought it'd be cool to get involved with the team that was starting that year. So it was quite an exciting time for me then.
Well then, Jason?
So I think I mentioned earlier, sort of Ben got me involved from the football trials, and that was how it started for me from the futsal. But in terms of what did I study, I studied sports and exercise coaching science in my undergrad, and then I decided, and actually because of futsal, I think I decided to stay for my masters. I wanted for Middlesbrough, in a Middlesbrough at the time, and I wanted to stay in the area. So I did a masters in sports therapy, and stayed on. So did longer. So it allowed me to keep playing futsal. So that was the reason I did a masters.
Well then, Robbie.
I did sport and exercise coaching, same course as Jason. I first got in futsal, just a friend of mine that I played football with asked me to go down. I think they had a local league at the university, and he invited me there, and then it just stuck from there. Kept on playing from then, yeah, and still going now.
Well then, so you started there, and then how did you started playing for Teeside? Did you hear that there were some trainings, some trials? How was it? Did you go with friends?
Yeah, I can't even. I think it was
Armsy. Was it? No, it wasn't Armsy. Because Armsy already, wasn't it?
It was Armsy that got me to go.
Yeah,
he got me there. I don't even know how I came about playing for the university team. I can't remember.
I remember your first training session though, Robbie.
Whoa.
Yeah. I remember because I remember you turning up to a Boro training session, and you were half decent, and I thought you'd been playing for ages, and you were like, "No, this is one of my first sessions."
That's all right. No, I can't remember starting there. It was just, I think the first few times I went was maybe just like a friendly league on like a Friday night or something like that, and I just made up the numbers and stuck from there. Yeah.
Well then, so Middlesbrough, was it natural? So starting playing for Teeside University, it was like a must do because it was more or less the same players. Was it like this, Ben?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the exact same team. Because I'm sure I was there when Damon started it. I'm trying to think what year he started it now.
Yeah, it was
2007 or 6.
Yeah,
2000.
Officially 2007, so probably
right.
2006,
so
maybe.
Yeah, that was exactly when I was at uni. So it was the same team. I think Damon probably had aspirations to be part of the league. We were just playing. We didn't care really what the team was. We loved it. You know, we had a great group of lads. We loved playing the sport. So yeah, I'm trying to think. There might have been a couple of extra players who weren't students that he'd got in from local Sunday, Saturday leagues, possibly. But yeah, it was pretty much the same team. So of course I was gonna carry on and play there.
Jason?
So yeah, I joined in. I think it was really my first year, which was the first year of fish. So that was probably second year of Middlesbrough Futsal's official sort of existence. And look, so you're still a legend now, Ben. You're retired, but you're still a legend. I remember, the first year mine was the National League, and I remember the first game against. Can you remember we played against Leeds? Ben?
I do remember. Yeah.
We played in the first game, and I remember scoring 5 goals in my first National League game, and we won 9-1. We beat them in the Olympia building.
Yeah.
It was. So that was my first year of Middlesbrough, and then I think from actually the following few years after was when it really developed with people of not just university team. So by my final year and into Robbie's next few years, probably I'd say a third of the team were maybe Teeside University students. Would you say it's about that, Robbie? Maybe by those sort of final few years, about a third.
Yeah.
Something like a few ex sort of Teeside students and things, but there was more people from local areas. And Damon did a great job of building a club there. It's a real shame to see it not sort of about now. If you look at the sort of strength of places like Manchester, with what sort of Simon's done at Manchester, Damon and sort of Middlesbrough were almost identical sort of embryonic clubs at that phase starting. And it would have been nice to see if Middlesbrough was still going now, what they could have become. Because, God, the days when in my final couple of years where we had like fans down, the Red Faction used to come down, and
that was massive,
absolutely huge. Like, it was great. Like, you were playing in front of it was only about 50, 60 people. I think one game we had about 100, but they were just like these 20, 30 Red Faction fans were just so loud, and it was like streamers on the pitch. It was absolutely crazy. So
I think it was their fault. I think it was their fault about this craziness about toilet paper because they were throwing it at the pitch.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, so Damon did such a good job at building a great club there. Obviously, real shame when he moved on for other aspirations, that the club sort of didn't have the sort of opportunity to progress because just didn't have that resource. But yeah, great club and some real fond memories of some great successes over there, I'm sure, for all of us.
For sure, for sure. Great, at least great. We kept great friends from that. All of you guys, I played with you guys in different moments. With Ben in 2007, and I guess once in 2008.
Yeah.
Jason in 2010, 13 as well, I guess, no?
Yeah.
Also in Malta and Barcelona preseason, I guess.
Yeah.
Robbie as well in those periods. So
And
it was.
You played in Zurich as well, didn't you?
Sorry?
Did you play in Zurich? Was it Zurich who went to the Unicorn?
Yes, we reached the final. We lost against the Geneva, I think Geneva futsal team that was full of foreigners, Brazilians.
Yeah.
And well, it was a great experience. At least personally, was massive. We reached the final. I saved 2 penalties in the semis against the French team, and then in the final, besides I don't know 5-2 or 5-3.
Yeah.
I was granted the trophy for best goalkeeper. Don't know why, but I still have it with me. So it was a great experience. And you, Robbie, what you think?
So with Middlesbrough, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said at the beginning, it was a really good time for us. We had such a good spirit amongst us, and we were all university players at the same time. We spent a lot of time together training, socialising as well. And then as we graduated, those of us that still lived in the area kept playing. And then Damon recruited a lot of younger players as well from the area. So there was a few players, I think, that played at colleges that were moving into the university. So I think he integrated the Teeside team and in Middlesbrough at the same time. Yeah, it was a really, really enjoyable time.
Yes, at that moment, that was a shift in Middlesbrough Futsal Club, because until then, the club was mainly with players from Teeside University, and then at that moment, Damon realized that if he started this partnership, I guess it was with Middlesbrough College, so that you guys could bring younger players to join the team, and that happened, and it was a way to keep the future going. Yeah, well then, so now I'm gonna show you guys a small presentation, which is not a presentation, it's just a couple of slides.
Oh,
God, look at that hair, Ben.
that thick hair.
Green.
If only.
Can you see?
Yeah. Montenegro.
So here
Yes.
are just a couple photos of Ben
Jason.
playing in the national
Jason's there as
team.
well.
Yeah, I'm hiding in the background over there.
We're looking at each other, I think, Jason.
You should be there, right? Well then, here it was in
wow.
Lisbon at the
Yeah,
game
look at
against
that.
Sporting. So Dale just finished
Yeah,
playing.
that's me dominating 3 Sporting players, I think.
You were the one who scored, I guess, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, to be fair, I think I did all right. Yeah, I think I did. I might have scored. I can't remember now, really.
So where is there it is, Ben?
Yeah, there's Armsy, Robbie.
Oh yeah, the front.
Yeah.
Look, Damon in the goal.
Yeah.
Funny to see.
God, yeah, Amos. Wow.
Here, Jason in Barcelona with Preseason.
God, you look young there.
I know, and quite slim. I've been in the gym.
Yeah.
And now, Jason, this is well, it's João Almeida, your former coach at Loughborough, asked me to show this. This is your last goal for Loughborough before you stop playing, right?
Yeah. That was my comeback game, trying to get back from injury in October. I think I played. That was my first game back, and it was great. And I thought I'd got past my injury. And then after that game, we were playing away in Hereford the week after, and the ankle just flared up again. And that was sadly I went on court for a minute, travelled all the way down to Hereford, played a minute, and couldn't play. And the ankle just gave way after that, really, and meant I had to stop. But that was my last goal. You can finish through the goalkeeper's legs from a tight angle as well.
Yeah, so João just wrote some words for you. It was a pleasure to meet and coach Kilbride. He's an example of a leader. His attitude and charisma increased immediately the team quality. Just hoped he could keep helping us, but this happened, and I'm sure golf just won a new champion. Are you playing golf?
Nice words.
Yeah,
he don't stop playing golf. That's all he does.
Well, when the sun's out, why not? It was great. I really enjoy it. I feel sort of gutted in a way that João sort of was really late in my career, and I think as well he's developing as a coach as well. I mean, he's in his early 30s. He's got fantastic potential. I know he's managed for Bahrain, and he's got a great future ahead of him. I really enjoyed playing him for a short time. It was great, and he's very much someone who I admire as a coach, and I loved playing for him. And I do remember my first training session, and I travelled across after joining Loughborough again for the second time. I travelled across from Peterborough to Loughborough, and in the first session there was a couple of young lads who actually now play for England. Probably I won't name a few names, but they were mucking about in training, and I walked off and I grabbed them and said, I've travelled an hour and a half to train here. I don't want to mess about. Like, let's get on with this. And João said, "Thank God you said that, because I was going to say it." So from that point, we had quite a good bond. And Nathan Davis was a little bug of training. So, but he's really developing as a good player now. So, and that's testament to sort of João's management as well as his stuff at England. He's a great player. But yeah, João's a great coach.
Yeah. Okay, so this one.
Wow.
Remember this one, Robbie?
Wow.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so this was in Malta. We went there. We went there to play against the Maltese national team, 2 friendly matches before they play against England, I guess. For the Euro. And yeah, here are some young lads that were stepping up at Middlesbrough. 14, 15, 16 years old. And here's the captain.
The old man of the team.
That's a tight captain's armband, that, Robert.
Oh,
yeah. Here I had to put the arrow because I couldn't find Robbie. The picture has so much Photoshop that I couldn't find Robbie, so I had to put the arrow.
Photoshopped himself in.
Yeah. Again here. Yeah, so this is just nice catching up.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And now I'm stopping this, and I'm going to invite someone that wants to give you also some words to you, all the 3 of you. Hi, Damon.
Oh, God. Oh, see you later. All right, Damon.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I think we wanted to make this a bit like This Is Your Life. I've been listening. Your memory's a bit hazy, some of the results and stuff, but
nice game, wasn't it, against Leeds?
10-1.
Oh, I wasn't far away.
Yeah,
Brazil was 9-0.
Yeah.
And we lost 26-2 to Mostoles.
26-2. Oh, not far off. 20-odd. Far off.
I played in the game, and it was Ed Bryers who scored against Sporting.
Oh, it was that. Okay, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
I scored against Bristol. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, probably.
I think I did. Yeah. But
Stop trying to claim goals, Ben.
Great.
Sorry?
So Damon, it's 3 a.m. there, right, or more? Nearly
What?
nearly 4 a.m.
What are you
in
doing up?
Malaysia.
Listening to you.
Get to bed.
So yeah, Damon is here
later.
it took 5 minutes of his sleep to come here and tell everyone which skill set did you find in you guys to make you the captain of the team.
No, so I don't think any of you three would have been someone's first choice. That might go on to play. That might go on to play at the top. I don't think you'd have been the first pick in the trials or something like that. If you know what I mean. You've not got that instant. Maybe Robbie did, but you had something. You had something that you all went and you overachieved. You became England internationals from like not expected, if you know what I mean. So it was just that determination you had, and you've all gone on to have these amazing careers in futsal. And it's not because you've got the most skill; it's because you've got the most determination, the most effort, the most, and you're good people as well. So I think that helps. It's not always the first thing you look for in sport, but it's definitely helped you. But no, your determination to go, because you've all talked about these opportunities that you saw in futsal, like this pathway, and that's what I saw as well. You've seen that and you've grasped the bull by the horns, and you've gone and taken it. And no, it's testament to your attitude as more than anything.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
I'm just gutted I didn't get you a bit later on in your career, but no, the start of my career was amazing. Like the experiences, the memories I've got from that, never forget. So no, thank you guys. Thank you.
What was the leadership skills that you found in Ben afterwards? So at the beginning, you didn't realize it was a star, but then again, is space in the galaxy. So what did you?
I think
putting you.
everyone just kept saying Morph's the best. And that's kind of
It's stuck. I need to thank my mates in the Facebook group.
you were such a good people person. You were. You brought everyone together. You weren't. You grew into the captaincy. It was an obvious choice, but you were that person that brought everyone together.
Thanks.
I obviously played you didn't, Robbie, play in the Ben as captain, but yeah, you were always you've always been the glue of dressing rooms and squads, and like you're always fun to be around, and I think you always created a good culture, which I actually learned as a captain off you. I think
I reckon that, even though it was a short period.
Thanks, lads. Feeling the
But like I say, I didn't play with Ben at Middlesbrough, and I didn't play with him at England until only recently. Which was
it's a shame that I'm gutted we didn't get to play more.
Yeah.
To be fair.
But I did spend time with Ben around England training camps, and I'd say the way that he made me feel when I came into England training was just amazing. It's quite a daunting experience coming into an international team with a lot of guys you don't know, and Ben couldn't have done any more for me. He really made me really feel at home and relaxed, and yeah, it was brilliant.
I'm glad. It's nice.
Jason,
it's a shame we didn't get to play together more, Rob. You had your injuries at first, and I had my injuries. Then,
yeah.
Well, no, I'm done.
We were saying the same between us. I mean, Ben, how many caps did you finish with, Ben?
67.
So 67 from you, 41 from me, and I think Robbie's obviously still playing, so he's going to add to his. But what are you on now, Robbie?
I'm on 36, but my first England training camp was about 2011.
Yeah.
Whereas my debut, I didn't make my debut until 2016 because of my injuries. So yeah.
So I mean, the three of us were never on court with England together.
Shame.
That'd have been.
All the three together? No, but Jason and Robbie, yeah, right?
Yeah, one game.
Yeah, I mean, Ben.
Oh yeah, we did we Four Nations briefly.
Yeah,
till I got removed.
Yeah.
I think we was in a little bit.
Got removed. You could say it was an injury or something.
Yeah, definitely an injury.
Yeah. Okay, guys. What about Robbie? Damon?
Robbie was longest serving player, I think, at the time. But again, it was similar to Ben in that he grew into being a leader. It was local as well. I'd never had a local captain. I thought that was always something I'd wanted to have. But no, it was the face of the club. It was, between him and Mikey at the time, they were like the local lads. They were the face of the club. And no, Robbie was always, an example. No, with his training and everything, and always around the club. Even if he was injured, he was coming training and stuff like that. So yeah, another attitude and making everyone feel welcome and encouraging the young players to work hard and stuff like that.
So we could choose 3 words to define, would be leadership, empathy, and what would that be? The last one, commitment. Would it be? Which 3 words would you choose to define all of them?
What I've just said. So yeah, definitely. No, you need that from the captain. You can't have a captain that's not committed.
So my experience with you guys, I've been longer, obviously, in with teams in Portugal, so a full season, and I didn't have the feeling I had when I was with you guys. Not so much when I started the first time when I met Ben, because we were arriving in Lisbon, one from here, another one from Switzerland, another one from I don't know where. So we didn't have time to get along and to play together. Then in 2008 we did this nice interview for ITV. You can check it on my YouTube channel. And then with Jason and Robbie, then it was a whole different thing. So the group was a very nice group. The people were all going on in the same direction, guided with these guys. So Damon was more low profile because obviously he was the coach, but Robbie and Jason, they were leading the team, and that was clear. So
I think for the feeling that we had around the team when I was for Middlesbrough, a lot of that credit's down to Damon and the way that he ran things. The group was so strong together. Damon wasn't at the top barking orders. Everyone was allowed the room to lead ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was free to speak, to input, and I think I'd like to thank Damon because I think he's really contributed to all of our careers by giving us that opportunity at the beginning to be part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The opportunities that I got from when I was at uni with Damo and the tournaments, we had no right to be in them tournaments like the ones we went to playing sport in Barcelona, even in Boro. Like some of the teams we played, it was an unbelievable experience. Really, I think it definitely without that I wouldn't have been able to progress. I think as I did, but yeah, so no, it was class. It really was great times.
No, I echo what they both said. I think you gave us that platform and opportunity to start with, and actually all of us, although Ben, obviously you started before uni, but you made us all fall in love with the game a bit, Damon, with all the opportunities you created for us in the early days. So yeah, and I think that culture that you were never, as a coach, never so hands-on in the changing room in the sense of what culture to create. You got people who were like-minded in that changing room, who all had a common goal, and then let us lead that as it was, and I think that was important.
Definitely.
Thank you. Nice one.
thank you, Damon, for giving us, all of us, the opportunities we had in futsal. I speak for myself, but obviously you had nice words from the guys right now. So you can write the paycheck for us, please. So thank you
Are we
so
not
much.
announcing the reunion now? Is this not a reunion call? I thought that's what it was. Portugal 2021.
No, yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
So it, we'll be there.
We're like,
When we're like
Let's
45, maybe.
Let's
Oh,
organize it then. So Damon, thank you so much again. Thank you for being here with us. This extended 5 minutes. You can go back to sleep.
It wasn't a sleep. My sleeping hour is from 4 a.m. till 12.
Okay.
So I can speak to English people.
Thank you so much, Damon. See you.
Yes, sir.
Sweet dreams, Damo.
Listen to you. Brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
I like how he had nothing nice to say about me.
Well, nice start, wasn't it? Well, you weren't that good, but
Yeah, you weren't my choice for captains, but other people rejected it. So.
yeah.
No, the way he said it, it looked negative, but I'm sure it was very positive.
He's never been a wordsmith.
Exactly. Well then, so national team first call. When was it, Ben?
So first call was 2000 and I'm sort of guessing here. It's got to be 2009, I think. I know it was at Loughborough. It was a 14 tournament, and I got in with Kurt, who Jason already mentioned, a good friend of mine. We got in at the same time, our first tournament, and but it wasn't. I didn't get picked for the first. I got in the squad, then I didn't get picked for the first sort of matches against France and Holland, I think. So I was sort of unsure whether I'd get anything, and then I got in for that. I'm sure it was December 2009, something like that. And at 14 tournament in Loughborough. So yeah, it was brilliant. I couldn't wait. I couldn't believe it really. I didn't play loads, but it was a nice introduction, and I loved it. And since then, I was in it then for the next 7 years really, non-stop. So it was brilliant. Loved it.
Jason.
So my first call, I remember it was my first game I was meeting up with the England squad was 2 days after graduation. So it was like, what a week. I graduated and then had my England debut in the space of a week. I ended up playing against Andorra on my debut, double header at Loughborough. If you remember, we drew and then beat them, didn't we? We drew on the first night and then beat them on the second night.
I know. I thought we beat them twice. You could be right though.
I think we beat them twice. Yeah, I can't remember. It was. I remember that I got the call and it was just unbelievable. Back in that day, you got an email, didn't you? It was like the first contact was an email, like you've been selected for the squad. I had a training camp, which was like literally the couple of days before the first game, and then got selected. Played against Andorra, and remember hitting the post on my debut and thinking I should have scored that. But yeah, it was a great experience. That feeling of sort of first time you go out, national anthem and everything, it's just brilliant. So yeah, and then continued there. That would have been. I've got a feeling that was 2010 or 11. It would have been 10 or 11 against Andorra, and then sort of continued through there. And then I had a little break where I stopped playing futsal for a period of time because of work, and took a couple of year break, and then restarted again just before obviously my injury. So I only came back for one game before an injury. So, but yeah, it was great sort of years playing for England, and it was great to travel the world, and that feeling I don't think you'll ever get back, and it's never the same again. It'll be.
Well then, Robbie.
Yeah, like I say, my first call up was around 2011. I was training for quite a long time in the under 23s, I think it was, and then I got called to the first team squad. I was actually playing football that weekend in the FA Vars. We got quite far, and I played on the Saturday, and then had England training the next day, and I got injured. and it turned out that I tore my meniscus in my knee, and I ended up missing roughly I think 2 years on and off. I had a couple of surgeries, and then gradually got back playing again, and it wasn't until 2016 and I got the recall again and made my debut. That was against Finland. I think we beat them as well. I think we beat them in the first game and lost the second, or maybe we drew. But yeah, that was just amazing. The best feeling, especially after trying for so long and not quite getting there. Even the day before my debut, I had a thigh strain in training. And after seeing the physio, having lots of painkilling, strap-ins, I managed to get through it, yeah. And then since then, I think I've looked after myself. Well, I've always looked after myself, but I think I've just been
more wise.
More wise, yeah. Not playing too much, doing more gym sessions instead of just playing constantly. And like I said, only playing futsal's helped me because I've been able to train more specifically for the demands of futsal.
Okay.
But yeah, and then since then, 36 caps and a lot of big games. I think I came into the England team at a really good time in terms of it was progressing. The difference from when I first started training with England until now is huge. The profile of futsal's risen a lot. We've travelled the world further. We've gone to the likes of China and Thailand for tournaments, and then we've had some good results in terms of qualification. And last October, I got to play against Italy, and that was Sorry?
How was it, the score?
I'm not very good memory-wise. Jace, Ben, can you help me? What was it, Italy?
I remember.
I can't remember. It wasn't bad though. It was tight. It was a good game. I watched it.
Was it 6-0? You didn't score, did you?
No, I don't think so.
Robbie scored against Germany, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first goal.
Yeah, it was my experience in Germany. I played against these guys from Hamburg Panthers. Oh, yeah, so Damon is watching. So 4-1 was the result.
Italy.
Right. Yeah.
You know that.
Thank you, Damon. Now he's saying. Okay, so it was interesting to watch England against Germany, the countries I was playing, and it was a surprise that for many people that Germany was starting the national team at that moment. So they started in 2016, I guess.
Yeah.
And England, it was 2010 or 9, wasn't it, Ben?
The England team?
Yeah.
Years before that.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember there's a lad from Grimsby called Paul Goodhand who played in a tournament in Malaysia, or KL5s, I think it was called. That was when I was at, when I was at college, maybe, or when I was at uni. So
I've got a feeling it was like 2003 England's first.
Yeah, it could be really could be the two lads from Tranmere that I played with, the Corran twins. They was really good players. They played for England as well then. I think there wasn't really the structure. Well, definitely what the structure is now. But even when I first started, there wasn't that structure with the England team. It was just sort of, I think there was a lot of semi-professional footballers used to meet up and play England futsal.
Yeah.
You know,
like with beach soccer.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a few years before that. I can't remember exactly, to be honest. That maybe Damon will know.
Oh, okay. So so the thing is that people were thinking that Germany would be easy. In general, I heard those comments, but I played against them, and they were really strong. They had their culture was also a little bit similar to yours. So they were playing football in regional level leagues, and then on the side they were playing futsal. They joined a group of friends and they started doing the same. Nowadays it's different. They are working to build a Bundesliga, and also they have an interesting tournament. They do a region. It's the selection of the region, okay. So and then they go for a national championship with this selection of players from each region. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
okay, so
Cool.
this is a tournament that was before, when it was Hallen Futsal, which is the five-a-side you had there, and then moved on with futsal, and it's really strong because the calls for the national team started mainly from those tournaments in 3 to 4 days. So it was interesting to see.
That's good.
Now it's getting more developed, and yeah. Okay, so we talked already about the national team, the feelings, the calls. So Robbie was 31 calls, caps.
31. Is it
31?
that?
No, I'm asking.
36, I think.
Okay, 36. Jason.
41.
Oh, Jason was 41, and Ben
67.
67. You are in the wall of fame.
Yeah, the cap wall at England, that was pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
To be recognised
More
along with
than
footballers.
50.
You know,
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah,
50,
more
and
than 50.
there's Luke Ballinger that's got 100, so he's on there in another column. But everyone who's got 50 caps for the country, whether you're futsal, football, women's, disability teams, you know, they're all on there, which is nice. It's nice to put it all together. It means a lot to people, I think, like us.
Of course.
You know. And
So-
Robbie will be on soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Exactly. Just be wise in your decisions, not to damage your knees, and maybe you'll get there.
No more pandemics. That should help as well.
Well, hopefully, I'd have been a bit closer if it wasn't for the
Yeah.
coronavirus with the European qualifiers that would have been in April. But who knows when that'll be.
So someone is saying that England.
Kev Bryant from Grimsby. Used to run the Grimsby League. Yeah, 2003. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great. My knowledge is better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
So,
2003. Also, Kevin left here also another question that we can put it now together. Where is it? Here. So why was it taken 18 years from first FA futsal development meeting to FA now to be introducing futsal to the academies?
You'd have to ask the academies, I think.
Exactly.
You know, it's they all decide what they present to their young footballers. I think some have been doing it a bit more informally before that. So I know Paul McGuinness at Man United, for example, he's a big fan of futsal, so he's been doing it for a few years. And I know players that have gone on to play in senior national teams that have played futsal when they were in academy age. So it has been there, but I think it's just now it's more official. But yeah, you know, I'm glad it's come in. Maybe it should have been introduced earlier, but I'm sure people have been battling to try and get it in. It just takes time, I guess, sometimes these things.
Okay. Any comments, Jason, Robbie?
I think Ben's hit the nail on the head. I think it probably should have come sooner. I think there's been people trying hard to get it sort of pushed further, not only into academies but other areas for years. But I think that momentum finally got there, and I think that development pathway with it's been built now, and it's only going to increase. But it's like any sort of movement or progression in any sport. It takes time, and I think it's just maybe took longer than a lot of people would have hoped, but it's there. That's the main thing now.
Yeah, of course.
I don't really have much expertise in that area, but I think maybe one problem could be people in football didn't really like futsal at the beginning. They didn't really understand it, and they're quite sceptical about it. And I think they're seeing it maybe as a bit of a fad that it just come and go, and they didn't really understand the benefits of it. But hopefully now it's got a bit more credibility in this country, and I think people are starting to take it seriously.
That happened in Germany as well, because more than competition regarding sponsorships, it was the usage of the sports halls. Because in wintertime in Germany, they were stopping regular football to do Hallen Fußball tournaments inside of the sports halls. So with futsal coming in, they wouldn't have so much free space to do those tournaments. And they would be obliged to play futsal, which was something different from the football inside the hall that they were playing. So it was also similar in that sense. Kevin has another RFA plugin futsal due to huge drop in affiliated. These are questions that, well, I don't think it's the forum today to be discussing this kind of answers. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, Kevin's got a hard time for us, isn't he? Chopping the difficult questions.
I'm sorry, Kevin. So, yeah, today we are talking about these three mates and the relation between them. So and me. So we played all at Middlesbrough Futsal Club. To those who are joining now, and also they played for the England national team. Robbie is currently still playing. Jason could be playing now if it wasn't for a nasty injury, but it's part of life, so you need to move on. Right, Jason?
Yeah. Me and Ben both curtailed by injury.
That's right. Unfortunately, but
So,
like you say, Rui, you got to get on with that, you know, look for other opportunities.
guys, now current club or current job, what are you doing at the moment? Still involved in sports? What are you doing, Ben?
So yeah, I'm still technically involved with York Futsal. I stopped playing for the national team. I mean, I played in the home nations. When was it, Robbie? A few months ago. But to be honest, I went to a couple of camps after that, but I didn't feel myself. I felt like I was just surviving, really. These lads are too quick now. They're too fit, and it was too difficult. So I stopped that, but I'm still technically involved with York Futsal Club, which is a great club that Junior Abate is running up there.
Playing or coaching?
Sorry, playing. I was coaching, and then because of sort of commitments outside of futsal, I sort of wanted to step away from that.
Is João Costa playing there?
Sorry,
João Costa, is he still playing there?
No, he was a couple of years ago when I was there.
Yeah, no, he's not anymore.
I coached him in the under 18s here in Portugal.
Oh wow, really? Small world. So yeah, so no, that's really good. And then I'm doing so that's all I've got time for, really, commitment wise. And another reason why I stopped playing national team, I ain't got the time to train more than I already have, especially with the daughter now, which Robbie's going to find out takes a little bit of time off you. And then yeah, so and I'm a physio student. I've gone back to university again. Unfortunately, I'm too old even to play for the Bucks team, so I think you've got to be below 25. I'm 33 now, so. But yeah, and I'm a massage therapist for the national team football, so it keeps me quite busy.
How was the experience in Russia? So you were,
yeah, amazing.
So for those who don't know, Ben was what was your position in the
so I'm a massage therapist for the England team. So I was at the World Cup as one of the massage therapists for the team.
For the Football World Cup in Russia 2018. So it was I was in Ethiopia on the day.
Really?
Yeah, I was working, so I was in Addis Ababa, and I was in a rooftop bar with some guys from work, watching the match against Croatia. Was it
the semi-final? We got beat. Yeah, Croatia.
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people supporting both sides in this rooftop bar. I mean, foreigners, so English people, and it was incredible atmosphere at this bar. So I can imagine you being close to the pitch.
It was pretty surreal. Yeah, it was. The Colombia game was the main one for me. I'll never forget that moment. Obviously, huge disappointment with Croatia, but you know, Euros cancelled this year, but next year, basically based in England. So hopefully we can push on a little bit more, get to a final, see if we can win it. That'd be nice.
No, it would be nice meeting you in the final.
We'll see.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, so current club, unfortunately, sort of had to retire now. So not got a club anymore. I've stopped from both football and futsal, and yeah, obviously that was quite a recent thing. So
Yeah.
That's me finished on the playing side of things for sort of international and national league sport for futsal. But sort of job wise, I've always had to. Futsal in the UK hasn't got the revenue that it has in other countries. So I've always had to work alongside. I work in and run a recruitment business, specialising in executives in different markets, and have done that now. I've been with this business for a number of years and helped grow it. So yeah, it's I work and I've took a lot from my sort of football and futsal across with me, really.
Any feelings about coaching, or for now you just want to clear your mind from this?
Yeah, I was quite close to taking up a football job, actually, semi-professional football job management recently, with me and a friend, but we were going to do it joint management, first step in, but we just both decided sort of time maybe wasn't right. With I'm quite busy at work at the moment, so is he, and there's a lot of commitment. I've actually going to probably there's a small team in Peterborough. That I say small team, they're a great club actually, but they don't have a men's team. But a couple of ladies have done really well in developing Peterborough futsal. But junior teams, so they've got really good male and female teams from ages like toddlers. Literally, they have about 20, 30 toddlers playing each week. It's brilliant to see, all the way up to. They've got sort of under 15 teams in that platform. They've got a women's team as well, and they've done a little bit in men's, but nothing from that. So I might get doing some more sessions for them. They've asked me to come down and do some sessions for the kids down there. So I'll get involved in that. But where I live, there's not a huge amount of national league futsal teams. The closest for me is Loughborough, possibly Cambridge, and that's. There's reasons for Ben, and you've got family commitments and work commitments. It's an hour and a half drive each way for me to coach, and at the moment, I just can't fit it in. I'd love to coach a futsal team, but I'd prefer it if it was in my local area.
Of course. And you, Robbie?
Yeah, so I'm at Durham University this season. I've been, and I will be next year as well. So like I said, I was at York, but that was about maybe an hour and 20 minutes away, and now I'm only half an hour, so it's a lot more viable, and I'm doing quite a bit of coaching with them. I really enjoyed the last season, and I think moving forwards, like coaching is definitely something that I'd like to get involved in a lot more. When I was out injured a couple of years ago, I did a few of my futsal coaching badges with the FA. I thought I'd get a head start on those. But then when you're playing, it's really difficult to keep doing that as well as working. Maybe when I stop playing, I might look to do some management or coaching on a more full-time basis. But yeah, while you're trying to keep fit, trying to get to the gym, we spend a lot of time away with England, so it's quite difficult to fit in. And now obviously I've got a baby as well, which is yeah.
Okay, is Jamie in York or?
No, he left York just before I did, and
okay.
he joined Scotland, and he left them midway through the season this year, and
Who did he join?
Sorry?
Who did Jamie join after York?
Sunderland.
Oh, Sunderland.
He was there this season, but he's left, and he's joining me at Durham next year, so back up again, yeah.
Still playing? Is Jamie still playing?
Yeah, he trained with us for a period, but I think he's looking to coach more now.
Yes, because I remember Jamie from helping Damon with coaching. It was a surprise for me watching Jamie playing at York.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed playing again, and he said he'd struggled to do coaching and playing at the same time. So he really enjoyed his time at York, where he could just play and get on with it. But now, I really think he's got the mindset of a coach, and he really wants to focus more time on that rather than playing.
Okay. So next question: What did you guys learn from playing sports that is transferred to your current?
I think from sport in general, and especially team sport, it's just about being part of a team, and especially, I suppose, mine's quite a good sort of transition because I've worked in sport as well. So the things you pick up that you enjoy as being part of a team as a player, you try and transfer to make the environment better for people who you actually work with as a member of staff who are players. So I think if you're used to that environment and it's the sort of environment you enjoy, that's something that I do. I particularly enjoy working as part of a sports team. It's great fun. So I think all the things that you learn about creating a good environment and motivation and keeping people not just motivated but happy and wanting to improve all the time. I think they're all things that you can take from team sports as a player and take into your work, especially the work that I do, which I'm fortunate enough to do. So, yeah.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, well, I took, although it's totally different, my work away from sport, I've transferred so much of sport, and recruitment's such a competitive environment, and I lead a team, I'm a director in our business, and I think I've took so much of my fundamentals of sport, leading, being a captain, across to what I do in my day-to-day. And I do a lot of podcast listening about leadership and high performance. I mean, I don't know if anyone's listened to the Jake Humphreys high performance podcast yet. Into excellent, great stuff, and different athletes across sport and so on interviewed on that. And some of the stuff I sort of take away from that, I think I've done that in my role from what I took away from sport. And I think not only the leadership and competition to sort of be the best and sort of push yourself further, I've tried to push that through the team and transferred that into my day-to-day. I think you've got to create a culture. I think a culture is so important, not only just in a team environment, whether you're a leader or part of a squad. But I also think if you're trying to set that tone, we're trying to grow our business massively. It's about creating a culture when people come into it that they understand what the expectations are and how to better themselves and the reasons why. So I've took so much, and I think I sort of look at my team now that work for me as sort of a team I've led on a sports field and you go into battle with. It's strange to maybe sound like that, but that's something that I've always took across.
Yeah, I feel the same. I applied the same in my former positions as a department leader. I had the same thing as I was leading a team. So I had the goals, the objectives, what is our strategy to achieve those goals, the culture around the team. So all that is very important.
Yeah.
Now I'm export manager. I don't have a team. I'm part of a team, but I don't lead a team. I'm working. I'm doing the exports for South America and Africa, and it's 1-to-1. So it's me with the customer, but also the goals are there, the motivation to reach the targets, and yeah. So those things I brought from sports. Robbie.
For me, I just say this similar to Jason about a positive environment, and you've really got to enjoy what you're doing to be able to push that extra bit and get the most from yourself. So I think if you can help create that for your colleagues, then you're all going to be able to get the best out of each other.
Well then,
simple.
Great. So we have a Homak. Hi guys, Martin Cassidy here from Northern Ireland. Used to train with you guys in Boro. Now managing futsal. Ben, you are a legend.
Xavi Salah.
Xavi
Salah. Did you play with Xavi, Jace?
Only I've played with him in like a tournament later, but he was you guys played with him the year before I started.
Well, he's a great friend of mine. I've been to see him a few times in Barcelona.
absolute legend. Like his name, I remember ringing about like from you before I even played, and like then I heard when I played with him. I think we played that tournament when we went. Ben, when we went to, was it Lorette de Mar? When we went over.
Oh yeah.
Robbie, did you come to that trip?
No, but I'm pretty sure that he met us in Barcelona. Briefly.
Yeah,
he would have. Yeah.
But he played with us in Lorette de Mar as well when we went for some and it was Mikey. Did Mikey? We had a decent. We had a bit of a holiday as well.
Typical. That's a standard Boro trip, isn't it? A futsal trip is a bit of a holiday, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good though. Good fun. But yeah, Javi was.
Thank you, Chavi. Muchas gracias, Chavi.
Sorry.
I was answering to Chavi. I was saying muchas gracias.
Yeah, he was. He was great. Thanks for reminding us.
Okay, so with Chavi giving his hello, is making us remember some stories back then. What do you guys remember playing with me? Starting with Ben.
Well, I just remember, to be honest, some of the guys Damon brought in, it was a bit like, where'd you got this from?
We've all been there.
But when you came, Rui, it was you were great. I mean, I remember Kurt saying as well, because I think you would have played direct, obviously as a goalkeeper. Was Christoph still there as well when you came?
Yeah, I was working with
Galb and.
No, it was only Curtis.
Oh, was it? Oh, Christoph stopped playing. Okay. But yeah, I remember him saying, and obviously you were a great guy, so you fit straight into the sort of the type of people that we were at the time then. And I just remember thinking, oh, great, Damon's bought someone who's good, So it was just a really positive.
Normally, it was just bringing.
Well, no, look, Damon brought some great players in, but you just never knew what was coming. We had a guy called Dave who had a cowboy hat. Apparently, we played in Japan. And it was like, I don't know if he'd ever played before, but he might have lied to Damon on his way there. But yeah, I remember just thinking, oh, what a great guy and great addition to the team, and we had some good times.
Well done.
So yeah, it was just great memories. That whole period was brilliant.
Jason.
Yeah, I remember. I think Rui, the first time I played with you, it was when you came over and you bought. Can you remember you bought those T-shirts over? Yeah. With the big, I've still got that. It's faded a bit now, but I use it for the gym a lot with a big futsal badge, a Boro futsal and the big Rui and futsal badge on the back. So that was the first time that I met you and you came over and played. And I remember sort of you were what I would now describe. Back then, you'd see English futsal goalkeepers, and they were like five-a-side goalkeepers to a certain extent and so on. But you were the first like proper, how I would now describe a futsal goalkeeper playing with. And I mean, you look at some of the England goalkeepers now; they're proper England, proper futsal goalkeepers. But back then, and even sort of Kurt would say himself, he was that football goalkeeper who went into futsal, and then he had to learn the differences and then learn the football. But you just came with this natural futsal goalkeeper, split saves, coming out with your feet, and you'd be like, "Whoa, who's this guy next to you?" And it's a goalkeeper. We're coming out to like collect the ball, and I remember a couple of times you'd go on some mad runs and my heart would drop when you ball at your feet and start dribbling. I go, "Whoa, Rui, pass it!" Because so, but those some great memories. And like Ben said, you fitted into the culture at sort of Boro whenever you played for them and come across. And we sort of you were always the talk of the dressing room. And I heard stories about you before I even played with you. So it shows the sort of legacy that you left the boys and testament to you.
Cheers, mate. Robbie.
Yeah, I think it was your professionalism from when you first came, the way you prepared for matches. You were always really focused, and I'd never really seen that, especially in futsal, because to us it didn't always seem, when we first started, it didn't always seem so serious. We just had a good, it was a bit more casual. But then when you came, it showed me, to be our best, how we need to prepare. And you were always so focused throughout your warm up. In training sessions, you were always speaking a lot to the other goalkeepers, and I used to listen. to the sort of information you had, and I wasn't really aware of the techniques and the processes that you go through. So I appreciated that a lot. But your professionalism. Remember at Barcelona when we played? I wasn't playing at the time. I was injured, but I was there coaching. Who did we play? Was it Santa Coloma, the first game? And I think we were losing considerably, and Stuart Cook was playing, and I think he tried to do a rainbow over a player, and we were losing a lot, and you really didn't like it, and you told him like, no, you don't do this, and it was like even though we're losing, the game's gone, we play 100% all the time, and
of course,
yeah, I really appreciated that and valued it.
Sure. Jason was mentioning about being a kid and having the dream to become a footballer. And my dream was to become a professional futsal goalkeeper since early age. So at I was 17, 18. I was playing in the under 19s and playing in the under 21 selection team, and also in being called to the first team. So I was training like Jason was training 7 days a week. I was doing the same. So 5 days per week, twice per day. So from 7 till 11 in the evening. And I was really committed. And then when real life, and this is the topic from these lives, real lives hit me. So it's tough in futsal. It's even tougher than in football because the what you get paid, it's much less than in football. So you have to realize that you have to go side by side with another thing. So in my case, I'm in management, and I had to do it always in parallel to futsal. And I'm still in love with the sport and do what I can to help developing it. So thank you, guys. We don't have any questions now. We were bringing the questions during the session. So Ben, last words?
No, just thanks for putting it together. It's been nice to catch up with all three of you, really, and to see how everyone's doing and hear about the journey and stuff like that. So, and if we can get that reunion sorted for Portugal next year, that'd be great.
Yeah,
in the summer. Well, it doesn't have to be the summer. Anytime, let me know.
It's noted. So
that'd be great.
For sure.
I
Sorry?
think,
No. Jason?
yeah, I think from my end, really, I think it'd be great to all catch up at some point. It's been great you've put this together. Reminiscing is great. Just looking back at the memories we've all had and what we've done and achieved is just crazy, really. I think if we do something next year, it might be more sunbathing and drinking than playing for in the future. But Robbie can play. We'll all stand at the back of the court. We'll go back to that diamond back in the day. We'll let Robbie run around. But yeah, it's been great, Rui, and it's been great to catch up. So thanks,
Robbie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Nice to chat, and I think it's easy to forget really the journey that we've came on. We've had so many trips away and opportunities that we'd never experienced before futsal. So it's really good. I mean, I did just get a shout as well from behind me that our wives invited. If we go,
that's what I was looking.
Of course.
Of course, Ben said. Of course.
Of course. We'll do 2 different trips.
Exactly. Okay, guys. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you this evening. Best of luck for you guys in all your projects, and also in family-wise. Family is growing. Greetings to all.
Great. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Obrigado a todos por estarem connosco. Foi um live com 3 jogadores da seleção inglesa, Robbie Bettson, Jason Kilbride e Ben Mortlock, meus antigos companheiros de equipa no Middlesbrough Futsal Club. Obrigado mais uma vez. Próximo sábado estaremos cá com o Rui Pedro Silva do Vamos Falar Futebol 10. Obrigado, boa noite.